Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1561B, and today's date is May 6th, 2018, and the title of the episode is Blackhat Disinfo. Yes, the swamp is being drained. Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. I uploaded a new interview on X22 Report Spotlight. It is with Greg Manarino. So if you go over to YouTube and you type in X22 Report Spotlight, it will bring you right to the interview. Or you can come over to the X22Report.com or newscentral.com websites. Scroll down a little bit, look over to your right-hand side, you'll see the interview there. Or you can go to Steemit, that is steemit.com/@X22Report, and you can watch the interview on Steemit. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the deep state is really getting caught up in their lies, and we see with Comey, McCabe, Page, Strozik, and everything else, we're starting to see that they're getting entangled in their gigantic spiderweb of lies, because a newly unredacted section of the House Intel Committee report reveals that former Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe told congressional investigators that the FBI had virtually no case against Mike Flynn at all. And this is why they kept these things redacted, because they didn't want anyone to see any of this stuff. Now, we need to go back to post 1281, this was April 27th, where Q dropped something where it said Flynn done in 30. And we talked about this before, where Flynn basically took a bullet. He didn't lie, he didn't do any of this. And we found out from the text messages that that was all fake, phony, and false. Now, the same report reveals that James Comey contradicted himself during a recent interview with Brett Baier. Comey, McCabe, and then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates and Principal Deputy Assistant Attorney General Mary McCord gave the committee conflicting testimony. Lisa Page has flown the coop. She resigned. Or did she? One of Comey's closest confidants, former FBI top lawyer James Baker, also resigned on Friday. Now, think about what's happening right now. They're saying they resigned, but really did they? McCabe also says that the former FBI Director James Comey spearheaded the ambush of Flynn at the White House, in which two FBI agents, one of whom was Peter Strozik, dropped in unannounced to interrogate him. Comey lied. He didn't tell congressional investigators that what McCabe told them. The two FBI agents who interviewed former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn didn't think he was lying to them. Remember, it was in their texts. And now we're finding out this is absolutely true. And we're starting to see from all of this that this whole thing was a setup. Now, Director Comey testified to the committee that the agents discerned no physical indications of deception. This is coming from this new report. They didn't see any change in posture, in tone, inflection, in eye contact. They saw nothing that indicated to them that he knew he was lying to them. The Department of Justice and FBI demanded significant redactions to the document, not to protect national security or sources and methods, but to protect themselves. That's why they did this. And the question is, why then would Flynn plead guilty? And we have to go back to post 1280 on April 27th, where Q said, why would Flynn plead guilty to something untrue? To find testimony, to find on the record. Who knows where the bodies are buried? Flynn does. Flynn is safe. I think he pleaded guilty to trap them in their lies and the cover-up, because he went along with it believing what they said, and then it turns out they lied to him. And look what's happening right now. The whole thing with Comey and all of them starting to fall apart, and some are getting fired, some are running, resigning, and we can see things are starting to change rapidly. And I think Giuliani is out there. He's just out there spilling everything, pretending that he doesn't know the procedures, doesn't know anything, and this is being done on purpose to trap everyone. This was planned by Trump, Giuliani, and the rest to make it seem like Giuliani has no idea what he's doing. He's just out there saying all these things. They want all of this out there. They want everyone to think that Trump has been weakened. It's going to trap them in the end. We see right now Samantha Powers, well, she's out there tweeting like crazy. Now, she's Obama's former UN ambassador. And again, we know the white helmets, they were defunded. This is really a terrorist group wearing white helmets where they staged all these false flags. She's out there tweeting, and some of her tweets out there are saying that, the white helmets, they do great work. They're Hollywood Oscar winners. Why would we defund them? It makes no sense. And it seems like people are definitely catching on to this, because we're seeing a lot of tweets from her tweets where people are responding to her, and they're saying things like, they are false and CIA operatives who faked all aspects of the war and committed a genocide crime and must be brought on war crimes and their supporters. And this is coming from Dr. Shibili Sawala. Here's another one. In what world are you living, Samantha? White helmets is known by Syrian people as Al-Qaeda supporters since the beginning of this Saudi-sponsored war. Oh yeah, has been recognized by the world who believed fake news. You are so naive, even feeling sorry for you. Good planet. That's who that's from. Laugh my ass off. They are the terrorists that provide false flag attacks to U.S. and UK government and support ISIS in any way they can. Shame on you for supporting them. Snarky Siberian 2111. Now that Assad's future is all but secured, the propaganda value of humanitarian aid as a means of promoting foreign military intervention is no longer economically viable. Ammar Ali Qureshi. So there's many, many more tweets after this, but you can see people are waking up. People are starting to realize that they've been spewing out fake information. And of course, what the deep state likes to do, and we talked about this before, they like to give each other awards to make it seem like, yes, since they got an award, it must be on the up and up. Since the White Helmets got an Oscar, it must be on the up and up. This is all part of the same system, and they want you to believe that these things are on the up and up, and this is why they give each other awards to make you think that. Because once you get an award, it has to be okay. Just like Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize for doing what? He just became president. He didn't even do anything yet. But again, this is what they do. They make you believe that this stuff is happening and making it seem like they are absolutely right, and this is why they're getting the awards. But again, that doesn't stop the propaganda. The propaganda is still there, and now people are starting to find out, and people are calling them out on it, and very soon, more and more people are going to call them out on it, and the whole thing is going to start to crumble down. Now, Q put out some new posts, and it looks like the board might have been taken over by Blackhats, and this is why we saw pictures of Apple headquarters, JetBlue, and it seems like those were Disinfo photos that were put up there. I said there was no text associated with it. We tried to understand what they were, and we didn't know what they were. So there's a new board that was created, and it looks like in post 1312, they wanted to say pre-stage security, and he went down the whole thing on the ready, and they created new trip codes and things like that on the boards, and they started a whole new board called Patriots Fight. So the old board where it said Great Awakening, now it has turned into Patriot Fights, and Q started to post some more information. Now again, Q is not just one person, it's a group of individuals, and Q came out and posted 1314 on May 4th, talking about how Trump is draining the swamp. Now, a previous post back in April 27th showed different individuals being fired. Jim Ribicki, remember? Fired. James Baker, general counsel, fired. Andrew McCabe, fired. James Comey, fired. And he went down the list. Well, they're updating the list here to let you know that the swamp is being drained. So, updated. James Baker, fired. Reported today, resigned, which is false. Removed, he was fired. Lisa Page did not resign, was fired. The corporate media is putting out resigned. That is false. Testimony was received from Lisa Page. Mike Corton, FBI Assistant Director for Public Affairs, fired, cooperating under resigned title. Josh Campbell, Special Assistant to James Comey, fired, Department of Justice. David Loffman, Chief of the Justice Department's Counterintelligence and Export Control Section, National Security, fired. John Carlin, Assistant Attorney General, Head of Department of Justice, National Security Division, fired. Sally Yates, fired. Mary McCord, Acting Assistant Attorney General, fired. Bruce Orr, power removed. Rachel Brand, Associate Attorney General, number 3, official behind Rosenstein, fired. Cross against House Senate resignations, final terms announced, plus CEO departures. Conspiracy, fake news, the swamp is being drained. Trust the plan. They're moving now and removing all these different puppets, and then they'll move. Then they're going to go to the next level and the next level up, and soon we're going to see those indictments come out, and we're going to see Mayflowers. Everything is moving very, very quickly now, and we can see that there are more posts coming out, and we read this tweet once before, but let's read it once again. Post 1313, May 4th. A rigged system. They don't want to turn over documents to Congress. What are they afraid of? Why so much redacting? Why such an unequal justice? At some point, I will have no choice but to use the powers granted to the presidency and get involved in all of this. Post 1315. May 4th. Reread drops. Why is Hussein, Barack Obama, traveling, and John Kerry traveling all over the place, pretty much going to all the foreign heads of states? Some enemies of the U.S. they're also visiting. Why are they doing this? Why are they going and trying to patch everything up? Hillary Rodham Clinton flying under the radar. Same unreported. Why? 2 former presidents, Secretary of State, out of power, out of authority, racing around the world, pre-post POTUS. Why? The world is connected. The world is watching. And we understand that John Kerry, who was involved in putting together the Iran deal, is speaking to Iran, the foreign minister Javed Zarif, to discuss ways of preserving the pact. They're running around the world trying to keep everything that they've done. And again, with John Kerry out there, he's violating the Logan Act because he's meeting with these officials trying to do the opposite of what the president is trying to do. That is in violation of the Logan Act. And again, Obama's doing this. All these individuals are running around trying to keep the system in check or together the way they had it, because once it starts to fall apart, and I don't believe this is part of Iran, I think there's many operatives, and this is why John Kerry has the ability to go and speak to these individuals. There are certain operatives within Iran, within North Korea, within all these different places where they're trying to keep everything together because they have this system where they're funneling money into, they're laundering money, pushing their plans, trying to get a war started, trying to disrupt everything, and they don't want to be exposed right now. This is why they're running around trying to make sure that this doesn't happen, because once the investigation starts and we look into the national security part of the Iran deal, we're going to see a lot of things, and it's going to be brought out into the open where these people were funneling money. These people had a hand in the Uranium One deal. These people had a hand in all these things. And this is what they're trying to stop. And again, this is going to go into human trafficking, into pedophiles and everything else. And this is what they're trying to stop. And this is why they're racing around the globe trying to stop all this. Now, again, we need to remember, if things start to go too far and people are looking at this information, we can expect them to have the event of all events. Russia was already responding, saying it looks like they're preparing another chemical attack because they want all eyes someplace else. They're trying to push Trump into what they want him to do. And we can see that Trump, the Patriots, they're moving in a completely different direction, basically surrounding these individuals, making these individuals go after each other, making these individuals testify. Even though the corporate media is talking about resignations, it looks like most of these people are being removed. A lot of them are trading in their testimony, so maybe they're not brought on charges. Remember, these are the low-level puppets that, yeah, it's a big deal, but not that big of a deal. We want to get to the other individuals, the real players, the people behind the curtains, the people in front of the curtain who deals with the people behind the curtain. We want to get to that level, and I think this is where this is all going. This is where they're trying to get to, and I believe they're going to reach it, because I think at this time they've been gathering a lot of information. They know pretty much everything. They just need to bring it out in the open, and I think this is where this is all headed, because we can see what's happening with Comey, we can see what's happening with McCabe, we can see what's happening with the spider web of lies where everyone is crossing and saying, no, you said this, you said that, and it's all falling apart. And I do believe in the next couple of weeks, Flynn is going to be let go. They're going to say he did nothing wrong, and he knows a lot of the information, and they know this. And once all the charges are dropped and he has the ability to speak freely, and he's able to speak to the president and speak to everyone else, all this information is going to come out, and this is what they're afraid of. And you can see they're scrambling right now. And this is why we can't let our guard down, because we know they're going to push another event. And if they can't stop what is happening, they will make sure that this event goes live, and it's bigger and better than anything that we've seen before, to distract everyone from what is going on. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.